About to start the last session of this year's ICNC, and innovation, it was just mentioned, shall be sort of the guiding theme of this last panel discussion. It is named Co-Development Models, OEMs and CPOs Creating New Charging Experience Towards Brand Loyalty. And I am very excited because it's actually also the first panel. I hope I'm not making a mistake that I have a OEM joining me on stage, so that's actually really great. So please welcome our speakers. We have Steffen Rino, Director of Solutions at Hubject, Felix Schmidt, Head of Charging Experience at BMW. We have Alex Canepele, Director Software Engineering at Alpitronic, and Anton Achatz, Director Public Charging at Mehr Germany. So please guys, come to me on stage. So, you just heard the last minutes of our driver panel. What do you think, innovation as sort of the guiding principle for next year's ICNC?
Innovation in a way that we need more innovation, or the innovation we have today?
To show what you guys are building and what we are sort of...
So for next year's ICNC, we hope that the topics we developed here and showed here, and maybe in an early stage, and we will show this later, that we see this already in the market in a wide range. And that we already on new topics, because of the collaboration we already achieved, and we want to continue with the ICNC and so on, that we have more ideas and we can show this here and bring it again to the market.
We'll pin you down on this. So the goal of this panel is to hear about 2 projects where you guys work together, and I think you want to actually show something. That's good to know. So maybe we start, Steffen, maybe you can give a little bit of an overview of like what are the innovation projects that we are discussing in this session.
So we want to give 2 examples. As we know, like e-mobility is working, but let's say the driver experience is not fully there. Like we need to have a more streamlined experience. Customers need to have easier access to it. So we came together on certain rounds and discussed topics. And one topic is that we wanted to enable direct payment together with Plug and Charge, which most people don't connect because everyone is thinking Plug and Charge is a contract-based setup. But actually it's just an authentication method which can be mapped also on direct payment. And it's also the beauty, we wanted to integrate it as seamless as possible into the existing ecosystem. So let's don't change everything, let's have a quick ramp up to learn from it and maybe then adjust and make it better. And the other topic is that we want to show more data on screens, that the customer gets more hands-on customer experience, what is happening on a charge, what is happening in the car. And these are the topics we're going to show you later.
So maybe we start with the first topic, which is the Plug and Charge experience or direct payment combined with Plug and Charge. So maybe you can tell a little bit more about who was part of the project and how did you even come up with the idea?
Maybe we can show the first slide that everyone gets an idea. So first for everyone, Plug and Charge is that you have your contract inside the vehicle and that you...
You have to give them a second, I think. We'll probably...
It's already there.
It's there. Oh,
okay.
I can't see it.
So Plug and Charge is you have your contract in the vehicle, you plug in, and the charging will be done automatically based on your MSP product or based on the contract which is in the car. And as you see on the screen in the BMW, you can enter your credit card, or you can have your normal MSP product, whatever you want to need or want to use, and then you can use it. We came together actually with BMW with the idea they wanted to enable this for the vehicles to get more customer range. And Felix, you can elaborate about this.
Yeah, maybe I can add on that.
Please.
What we thought basically was, okay, customers are leaving their credit card to book services with us and to maybe buy optional equipment. So we have the credit card information, and we knew from Steffen that we have Plug and Charge contracts. So we said, super easy, why not combine those 2 things and put the credit card just behind the digital contract, and instead of tapping the credit card, you plug in your vehicle. It's pretty simple. You map your credit card to a Plug and Charge contract, it shows up in your vehicle, And then instead of having a contract and another application or subscription, it's just your credit card. And this is just an add-on product to the existing plug-in charge, because there's like customers that go for charge once or twice a year. And maybe they don't want to have an EMSP because they just want to charge and do a direct payment. And that's why we think this is a great addition to what there's already on the market.
So BMW first had the idea because you were like, we already have sort of part of the solution, and we know we have some customers who usually charge at home, but once or twice a year they charge in public. So who did you then need as a partner along the value chain who contributed to it?
That's actually a good point. Thanks for bringing this up. We thought it's smart to put the credit card behind the plug-in charge contract. We talked to Steffen, and then Steffen was like, let's sit down with actually a CPO.
I was wondering.
And then let's bring Alex to the table, because Alex is a smart guy from a manufacturer. And then actually, yeah, that's a good example of what happens at ICNCs or even at random gatherings at night. Where
this
you just
happened last year at the Tech Village party.
At the Tech Village, I don't know.
No, it was later. The other topic was actually an ICNC idea.
Okay, then we start the next story right there. But let's continue with this.
Yeah, no, and then we came together and we sketched out how can this work? Who has to do what? How can it look like? What would be a pragmatic approach to bring this to the customer really quick? Who has to do what? And then all of a sudden, this year, you see it, it's there.
When did you first, so just so we get a sense for the timeline, when did you first talk about it?
I think end of last year.
Yeah.
As we are working here with corporates, of course, we need to have data agreements that what can we share, that we have a let's say license agreement. It's mostly takes the most time.
Yeah.
But the work was actually pretty fast done in the last 3 months, 4 months to do it.
So it was just the three of you, Alpitronic, Hubject, and BMW, no other partners, so very small core team. And how did you then go about sort of aligning on the goal?
We had regular rounds, of course, because you need to take a common round, but sometimes topics are not relevant for, let's say, Alpitronic, because we found at the end a solution where the charging station doesn't need to do anything if they are plug-and charge compliant.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we kept them in a loop that we don't do anything strange, and sometimes there are CPO topics where BMW doesn't need to be there, and then we tackle this as round by round. But as we are like a platform enabler here, we had 2 tasks. One task was we need to have the combination or the connection to the payment world, which we didn't have, and we need to connect here to BMW. Yeah. And on the other side, we needed to have found a solution how we do it with the CPO, that the CPO gets the most streamlined solution here.
But maybe I missed it. Who is the CPO?
It's me.
He's the CPO.
You did, yeah. Well, I asked, like.
Yeah. No, Mayor.
Okay, Mayor is the CPO.
Mayor is the CPO.
Anton,
when Steffen,
what's your experience?
My experience is, I mean, in general, collaboration can be hard and tough with bigger corporates, as we all know. But I think that's a good example how smooth it can go. Yeah. When same mindset, same pragmatic approach. Steffen called me. We have an idea, and I said, okay, interesting. What do we need to do? And then it was like, I would say, easy peasy. And then it was very quick.
And I think what is key here, right? You know, these big, especially with big corporates, these projects can be very big, and there can be a lot of PowerPoint slides and project plans. This case was like really only a few people, a few experts, the right experts, and it was not only us. There were a lot of other experts, very, very knowledgeable people involved. Yeah. We'll put the right people there with the same mindset.
Yeah. Also, I'm wondering what was more challenging for you at BMW to get sort of internal support and financing, or external, having done a couple of projects.
I said we have. No, I mean, internally, I think at BMW we really focus on charging. Yeah. And the company acknowledges that this is a very important topic and a growth field where we still need to solve a lot of problems in public charging. So there's a really pragmatic mindset also in upper management for doing things like this and for giving us the opportunity to do so.
So maybe to Alpitronic, the question, what was your sort of motivation to join the project?
Well, it was of course very interesting because it's a huge step, providing another new method of authentication, and since for us the integration was really easier, in the end we found a solution where we didn't have to contribute anything from a technical point of view because we already supported plug and charge, so it was really smooth. And on the other hand, we saw also a big opportunity also with the second project we showed. They can be combined very well, so we thought it would be also a great showcase for the other project.
Okay, so maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on the result. Like, what have you achieved?
Yes. One topic which is part of the result. The good thing is sometimes we see solutions which are really locked in. That like these partners work with this. It's a nice marketing gag, and it's working just in this setup. And as soon as they want to scale, it will fail because you need to have a lot of integrations and so on. This was a common goal that this needs to be a scalable solution. It's not a pure BMW, not a pure MEA solution. The charger anyway, you are a device which is smart, but here not smarter than others. And it also even like our platform could be done somewhere else. And this is the result. We have now a very simple setup where a CPO can set up direct payment via some clicks, so there's no coding needed. Some exchange regarding the invoice format and so on, yes, but that's it. For the OEM or the one who is collecting the credit card information from the end customer, there's some work to do, but it's anyway a regulated business where you need to know your stuff, right? And so here other companies can also use and can tokenize these credit cards because this is a standardized thing. We didn't invent this. This is state of the market. So
do I get it correctly that other CPOs could also now join this? I mean, it's in the pilot stage still, or is it productive somewhere?
We are going live as soon as BMW is ready with the app, so that the deployment on the app. We're gonna start this Germany as to get it under a controlled environment to see the adoption, and then we're gonna roll it out to more markets in Europe and hopefully more in the world.
But we showed it to a lot of other CPOs during this ICNC, and we showcased it here, and they were super excited to see how it works, how the invoicing would look like, because this is then basically customer to CPO.
Yes, yeah.
Pretty simple.
So I just want to point out, so if you have questions on this project, on the participation, please use the app to ask them. We will have time for Q&A at the end anyway, so you can then also just raise your hand and ask your question. Yes. So sounds like totally, you're aiming for scalability and actually doing this.
If we don't scale this will not work.
Yeah.
Because we have direct payment, adding here margin on top. If we all need to make more money or need to spend money for more integration work, this will not work. So at the end, MaaS will cover it, and then we have another payment scheme. And it's not changing, it's not a revolution, it's just a seamless payment setup. And customers are probably not willing to add here much big margins to users.
Yeah, but the pricing is going to be ad hoc payment.
Ad hoc payment pricing,
yes.
exactly.
It's a CPO pricing. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a CPO pricing. And I think, just to underline, I think what we all had in mind in collaboration was the focus on the customer journey. So from a different angle, but for us, okay, it's a different sales channel. It's not versus roaming or whatever. We have credit card terminals already. We have QR codes with credit card payment. Now we use plug and charge as a credit card flow. I think pricing in the end with AFIR anyway will change for the whole industry. So I think it's a smooth way for the customer. That should be the focus anyway.
Maybe before we look at the other project that was more on price transparency, you can comment sort of what you appreciated most about this kind of collaboration in that project, also with the specific stakeholders that were involved.
For me, it was the people and the concept. It was not direct payment itself. Like it's nice that we had the customer in focus. That was like, okay, how does the customer sees it and how does it play a role? So that we have a real cool feature at the end. But if you have the right people and you can collaborate, you can exchange messages, you are not just waiting for the next meeting, the next PowerPoint, then you see the progress. And we saw constant progress on how we did it. Even, I would say, Florian, who was the most counterpart on the BMW side, had the challenge to moderate all the departments inside, which me as subject I don't have. We have a smaller department in EMEA. It was also quite easy. But this was the people and the concept.
And I would add to that a common goal and a common problem to solve, and a problem that a lot of, like, we are all EV drivers. As I say in BMW, for example, everybody working in the EV field and the feature development, that most of them driving EVs, and this is a real problem that people wanted to be solved, and that's why.
So you say the most important thing is the alignment on something that really needs to be done,
exactly.
and not just innovation.
And all had the same, and the goals were aligned, and this speeds things up so much, I think.
Is it in the end really dependent on people, like initiative that is like taken by 1-2 people? Can you sort of operationalize it?
For innovation, I think it's really about having the right people connected. Connection is really important. Alone, a smart person can't do it. Connection, we are here, right? Then you can do really good innovation in a quick way. Standardization is important, and we also want that this is standardized. This is part of a standardization, actually. And this takes more people and more voices and more opinions and more tracing and so on. And then this can be normalized. And then we have a mass adoption everywhere in the world, because this will maybe not work in one country, maybe somewhere in South Africa because of reasons which we didn't think today. And here we need more experts. But for rolling it out here in like Germany and Europe, we had the right people, I guess.
And I think it's necessary that it's not a too big group.
Yeah.
It should be the same mindset. You should be somehow elastic. Goal is aligned, but potentially the road to it needs to be a little bumpy or elastic. And I think that's the mindset, the people, and the quickness, and not making Excel plans for 10,000.
Not over-engineering, but really getting it done. So, anything to add to this showcase?
Maybe I want to add to you mentioning the customer experience, right? That's also what I think we all have in mind, and you can't have a good customer experience when we would solve it on our own, right? Like bringing the second project maybe already into play. If you have that credit card-based contract in your vehicle, and we also have prices in the vehicle, so you see prices, you can use them, and then you plug in, and then Mea and Alex are showing the costs and maybe already the customer information there. So we need all these players to have in the end not a secluded but an like aggregated customer experience. Otherwise, when we all do our bits and pieces that don't come together.
Who wants to do an introduction of the second project?
Maybe I do it again. For the second slide. It came a little bit from again customer journey. If you don't know what's charging, you're usually standing in front of the charging station. You hear the noise of the switches, and then you know, oh, now power flow is coming.
Yeah.
And you hope that you use the right contract from the car or the right remote start, that not your neighbor is charging for you or others. Like there's some trust today in charging, but there's a screen mostly on chargers. Why not using this one? But we have also the car. In a car now we can see different contracts, but sometimes it's not really readable. So we also need to work on the readability to make this better. We are not yet there, but you will do it. And so we were sitting here with Alex last year on Alpitronic. Maybe it was a little bit later than usual, but we were like, how can we do this? Because what's new here in the concept is that we have a direct connection between an EVC manufacturer and a platform like Hubject.
Yeah.
So we are bypassing the CPO, not for bad will, but just to make. We don't need a CPO for this, because the CPO is kind of a line in the middle. We need to have someone. The charging station knows everything. Here's a config which wants to start. If it's a remote start, or if it's a plug-in charge, or whatever. And if the charging station wants to show something, they need to ask something. And here was the idea: maybe just ask a portal like us, or like a hub, and we can collect information from MSPs and can distribute this. And so Alex was directly on fire. Maybe you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the end, there were, especially for price transparency, when you compare also Europe with the US market, you have different standards and technologies which, to a certain level, already allow price indication. However, especially in roaming, in the US they don't do roaming usually, they're all CPOs operating their own networks. There it's much easier to then provide this pricing information as soon as you start doing roaming, as of now, there is no way to receive this in a direct way, and that's why, together with Stefan, we thought, well, let's just bypass the CPO backend, which does not know, but because it's still the CPO backend anyhow, it's just
EMP,
then talking to the roaming hub. Why not have a direct link to the charging station, getting that information, so you make sure that in between there is not something getting messed up, because in the end we need that information to show it, but the CPO not necessarily needs it there.
You have to show the information, or is it because for me also the first question is like, why does the hardware manufacturer care? Like, it's very heroic because it's a huge problem, the intransparency.
Yes.
But is it really? Couldn't you just say, well, I'm just selling the hardware, customer journey, someone else does that?
No, I
End
think
customer.
Absolutely not. So I think customer journey
You
involves
could,
all of us.
but you didn't.
We could,
But he could. Okay.
Well, he didn't. He cared.
Exactly. In the end, for us, it's really important to provide the best charging experience we can, and that of course starts by providing robust hardware. But it doesn't stop there. So we have, on the one hand, interoperability, which is another topic where we closely work together with OEMs like BMW. Interoperability is one, but then also usability. And usability, also price transparency in the end, making it easy for the end customer, pushing the customer journey to make it as easy as possible and most transparent is key. So and this definitely involves everybody in the industry.
Who has, so just so we get it right, you want to get the number on the screen. You have the information anyway, or you have to get it?
I need to get it. So because this is actually the problem in the market. Everything which is shown maybe in cars is hand collected because there is no connection between an MSP and an EVC manufacturer on this data. We know that OCPP can transfer this data, but here a protocol defined that this data can flow, but no one said where the MSP or the credit card logo can be sent to this protocol. So there's a lane, but no entrance to the lane. If you know what I mean. And so I wanted to start. We need to have like an entrance to the lane. And if CPOs wants to do this with OCPP and so on, they can do it. It's just there need to be a platform to put the data on. If you are an MSP who wants to support transparency, if you don't want, customers will decide.
So one question would be, like, you're bypassing the CPO here because it's not particularly relevant, but the CPO is your customer. So again, I mean, heroic effort, but
yes, but in the end, it's about providing options, as also Stefan said. The end customer will decide if some CPOs start using it, showing this. Maybe others will follow. Of course, it's up to the CPO to decide whether to use this feature or not. Yeah. But we want to provide this option, right?
Would you use it?
Yeah, definitely. So that's something. I mean, we've been bypassed, yes, but I think that's a feature definitely we've been wishing for a long time. But that's something we as a CPO cannot do alone. So potentially we could. Yeah. But clearly, that's again a sign where we need to collaborate closely in a smart way. Yeah. For the end customer's journey.
Yeah, and think about the end customer's journey, right? It starts in the vehicle, you plug in, and then I think right now the BMW customer journey ends because then it's the MEA journey or the Alpitronic journey, right? And with this solution, if it's a BMW contract, for example, or if it's an MSP contract, whoever, the journey can continue.
You want it to end.
Think about it. You can have a person that you can have Stefan's build there, Stefan's picture there, and a quick, hey Stefan, have a great charge. Your price will be. Yeah. Right? And you can even calculate the price based on the vehicle information. Like you can do so many great.
You can be present at the end of the journey.
And the journey is not.
We can even calculate the price on the picture
of Stefan, on his forehead.
If I get the money at the end, great, do this. I'm happy.
You guys worked closely and very well together. So I wondered, where is this project now? Where is it at? And what's sort of the outlook?
At the end, this is always a checking egg problem, which we had also last year. But we said, let's start it. Yeah. No budget, nothing included.
What's the problem?
The problem is like the chicken egg.
The chicken egg.
So, because we need MSP data. Yeah. Without MSP data, we cannot show anything. We had this opinion like, should we collect this data? But no, this is, I don't want to hire people. And then, are the data correct? The MSP needs to have to control over this data, or let's say the OEM or the card, whatever needs to be shown, and the screens can consume it. That was the goal. We were lucky that also ChargeMap, as one MSP, was say like, I want to have this. I like this customer journey. I want to also push this quickly to the platform. Was one day and it was done. That was the target. And now we need to first, I think, Alex, you need to roll it out moreover, and we need to convince more CPOs in showing it. And we hope that the solution is as seamless as possible, that it's clear, it's a no-brainer to turn it on, and that MSPs can see I can improve the customer journey, or OEMs can put their logos on it, and so you see a premium charging journey for the end customer.
Yeah, so I got exactly this question also from the audience. How will the MSP be part of this new payment solution? It's the payment solution.
That's the other one.
Sorry, let's keep the question for later on. So with respect to the transparency, you'll basically shout out here to the industry, all EMSPs who want to be part of it, are welcome to join.
Take a look over there. I think the BMWs are still there. Also the Porsche. If you plug in, you see something on the screens. Also the Autel implemented now a first prototype, so it was also not that difficult. So you see, and you can see the journey. And on the picture before you saw, if you plug in, you see even different stages. Alex made kind of different stages that the customer is always informed about what's going on. And if you want to have the same for you, the work is really limited. And if you want to have to customize every customer, like with a picture or whatever, do what you want to do. The platform is there. We just want to provide a platform, and how you want to use it is up to you.
Yeah, maybe to add on this, I mean, we showcased this the first time at DVS, like a couple of months ago, and here for the second time here. And so far, the feedback was very, very positive. And even though we are still in a very early stage, already throughout this past couple of months, the platform also evolved. So we started with one idea, but then also based on the feedback, we managed also between EVS and today, we already extended this. This is exactly the point where you can be very fast, also integrating the feedback you get. Feedback was very positive, but of course, once you show it to the CPOs, they also provide their idea. Yeah, it's nice, but have you thought also providing this and that information?
Yeah, so
and that's really where we, in the cooperation, also then with Hubject, but then also with the CPOs, with Mail, and also with ChargeMap, really can, in an agile way, bring this forward very, very fast before we reach a level where we say, okay, now the early adopters can use it, but then once we reach a critical mass, we then can push it towards standardization.
Yeah, right? So you iterate very quickly. From a design perspective, I have to ask, so did you also include the driver in the design process? Because it's not the CPO or the EMP or the end user is, right? The end user is the driver.
So let's say we define some values, what a MSP can upload. Okay, it's like the MSP can set it up. Of course, every charger is different. So Alex, I think you had also some trouble with different screen sizes, how to put some data on it. We cannot put everything on it. So here, an EVC manufacturer can individualize this service and say, I think my customers need this. And maybe a CPO can say, hey, in my station, I want to have this information shown, but not this. So you even can customize this on this level and you can show it. And for the car, the same. I think if you want to show the logo and the MSP name, it's already enough. But if you want to add extra information,
you can do it.
You need to create you need to develop more, but it's possible.
So I have 2 questions now relating to this project. I'm just going to ask them right now. And please, if you have a question, you can also just raise your hand already. The first one is, would this information exchange with the car also work backwards, i.e. car mileage information back to the EMSP? I mean, that's car.
Okay, let's say this solution was not made for this. We had one clear target, transparency,
yes,
for the MSP.
In one direction? Yeah.
In one direction, exactly. Of course, if OEMs have APIs, this is a different topic, right? But OEMs have API where you can consume it and where you can get access as an MSP and so on. This is available for most OEMs. Maybe you know more.
It was technically possible, but it was not in scope so far.
Oh.
But for whoever asked, possible. And the next question is, why does nobody of the panel start standardizing via OCPP so we can achieve real interoperability? I'm not into the weeds enough, so I have to ask you.
We never said that we don't want to standardize this, right? We wanted to have one solution, and OCPP is great, and it needs to develop further. It needs to add new use cases to transfer it. And I mentioned it. It's already there's possibility to transfer it.
Yeah.
But if we would have started with OCPP and with CPOs, we wouldn't have this here now. We would have needed to have more stakeholders, more collaboration, which is great. But it takes just longer because we are all companies with needs. We need to talk to each other. But just 2 people, let's say, involved, or 3, doing something, but always keep in mind, we need to scale this, we want to roll it out, and we are happy to hand this over to standardization. Use the platform, how is the data getting forwarded, which, let's say, protocol it is, we don't care.
Yeah, so the goal for now was in a very short time do a quick and dirty solution and show that it works, and it's not that
I would say
quick and
dirty,
dirty.
a quick and good solution, of course, but it's protocol agnostic. How we read out the database, at the end, it's a simple database. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Someone can put something in with the protocol, with the language, and someone can take it out with the language. For now, we define the language we thought is the easiest. When some standardization is thinking, other language is better to consume it. Yeah, let's go forward.
Okay. If anyone wants to ask a question, please raise your hand. There's another question on this project, and that is, what's behind this development? Is there a sort of revenue monetization model?
Actually, really good point. We discussed this before in there. All the innovations we
you
started.
just decided it now.
No, actually, why did we do things? Why do we think collaboration is great? Usually, what we did here, we didn't think about revenue, because if you start and think like I want to build a product where I make a lot of money, it's not a good product, because first it will not be used, and secondly you screw up the market. The idea was really customer journey. Hey, how can we enable fleets with credit cards? How can we do the logos? We are currently also in the defining phase how much we can charge for this as subject. EVC manufacturers need to have the same thought. Should the CPO pay for it, or should the CPO do it themselves, or OCPP? So because we all invested in it, so there needs to be some revenue stream, but it's not decided yet. So it will be definitely low margin because it's a nice feature, but it's also not a revolution.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
It's sort of value add.
It's a value add, exactly.
And also for Ibitronic differentiator, I guess. But you mentioned already, Autel is already also.
They started it because they saw it on the EVS. They're like, damn, that's good. We want to. This is the effect of fairs and ICNCs to see this, to show it, and we are open from the beginning. So let's do this. Here, it's the API. Try it.
So maybe as a next step, let's go one step back and look more at sort of the on the meta level on this process, what you've done. So it's 2 great examples. Really amazing. I worked for an innovation center for some time, and it's not that easy to implement something that is scalable in such a short time. So kudos to all of you guys. What do you think are the biggest hurdles by players in the market not to do this more often?
It's easier not to do it. It's easier to say, oh, it's complicated. Oh, I need to get permission from a boss. Or I need to get a permission from up in big corporate, which is a pain. I was working for corporates for a long time. So it's easier not to do something than doing something. And we did this in our free time to say, like, this is a nice thing, let's do this. And we didn't save any resources, whatever, we just did it. And of course, we need to plan this now, resource planning in the companies, but it was a side project. I think for me, it's like, just do it. I like the Nike slogan without making Nike, but
Haptik is also fairly compared to mid-sized, really large company. Also, your mother company is a really large company, so might be a bit easier. What sort of from the other players' perspective here?
I mean, I think I mentioned it before. Potential hurdles is management, is waiting for standardized solutions, is no pragmatism.
Yeah.
But if you manage to set aside enough time, also at big companies for projects like this, and you have the right people, I say again, skilled people, not too many people, not too much PowerPoint, common goal.
And also freedom from your management to
and pragmatic,
do that.
Exactly, management decisions to just
in
give you
limited resources. Yeah.
Not overcomplicating the project, I would say.
Did you have to? But I have to ask you. So, did you at the beginning of the project? Did you have to make an argument internally each that it's going to generate some kind of revenue or savings? Because I mean, otherwise, how do you make the point that it's like really important that you do it?
At least for me, customer journey again.
Yes.
It's. I mean.
Argument enough, yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's a very obvious, positive customer journey.
Yeah.
Well,
Good. Also Argumente enough, and also in this process of innovation, again, if you don't have a revenue stream in mind in first place, right?
Yeah.
So innovation always is like, I have a great idea, let's just explore it, let's see where it goes, and then you think about, like Stefan, and only in the second moment you think about the revenue stream, and this is important, I think. In corporations, bigger or smaller, you need this room for innovation, and some players in the market have more an understanding on how innovation works than others, I would say.
Yeah, and some don't. Yeah.
Maybe to add on this, not on the revenue side, but in general, what we see with plug and charge, for example, in the US market, where we are live with Electrify America and Shell, lots of people are using plug and charge, and we have so many better KPIs in terms of reliability and first plug-in success there. So that argument alone, saying, okay, we're building an addition to the contract-based plug-and-charge solution that would enable fleets or would enable second-car customers that don't get the offer in the first place, was argument enough to say, hey, just do it. If we can increase reliability with this one just by 5%, go for it.
And I think for BMW, you have the most stakeholders to convince, but at the end, if you have, of course, it's also belly gut. If you have a good idea, it's not always like sometimes technical geek stuff. But if you have a customer in mind, and we really have a belly gut, like if I would like to use it, I think more people will use it. If we do it, there will be revenue. Yes, sure, but not in the first place. Let's do it, and then we can take a look. And if you do 80-20, we do the kind of the fast development in the first time, and then we can tweak and make it better.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what the biggest challenges are that you foresee now for scaling. Is it also going to be this team, sort of the famous four, that's going to work on scaling? And
hopefully more than four. We need more CPOs and more OEMs.
Yeah.
I think OEM adoption, other OEMs, but I think wouldn't be a big problem. Hyundai, Mercedes, they all have payment services. They can just do it, and they do plug and charge. And then CPOs, I think we did a good job here with the showcase. There was really a lot of interest, even from companies that don't have plug and charge enabled right now, that say, this
that's
use
nice.
case, OEM, CPO, could be something that we're looking into.
Yeah. I think for me again, it's very obvious as it is, and I can just invite other OEMs and also other CPOs, of course, to hop on this.
So,
with the famous four.
Looking at the time, I would like to open up once more for questions also regarding the first project, so the new payment solution. And I have this one question still at the back here. So, are there any more questions from the audience that you would like to ask? Yes, there's a question at the back. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, this is Marco from Ecovia. Thank you for the presentation and this very interesting discussion. I appreciate that you are pushing forward the customer journey and price transparency. If I look at this chain of the customer journey, we have the OEM, we have the CPO, the EAV ESE, and the roaming platform. But as you asked before, I think the customer was missing, and also the MSP. Was it intentional that you did not involve an MSP in this project at this time, and do you plan to do that in a later stage? Because their data will be crucial for the successes of this project. Thank you.
We of course, as mentioned, ChargeMap was one party which we involved. Like, what would you like to show? And he was eager to say, I want this. We discussed it with other MSPs, no worries. But they were like, it's nice. Let me know if it's done, if you have all OEMs and all EVCs convinced to do it. Like, chicken egg. So someone needs to do the first step. If you don't have this, then it's done. And for the direct payment, same.
But in the direct payment, I mean, that's also the question that was here asked in the audience as well. So how will the MSP be part of this new payment solution? Will he be part of the payment solution, or will he not be part of the payment solution?
There is a payment solution for the MSP, the contracts that we know today.
That's the one that is there.
That is already there.
The one that you've built.
It's an addition.
Yes.
Right. It's an addition.
And it was already there before. It's a credit card. But the only thing what we made possible is that now this credit card. Because if I want to pay today with credit card, I don't want to use my contract, right? So I take my card and I swipe it. But now we just make it a little bit more seamless that this is now in the vehicle.
Yeah.
So we didn't add.
But the simple answer there is like the EMSP is just not.
We understand,
part of this.
and of course an MSP needs to have all MSPs are saying it's not just about pricing for us; they have more value, and here they play a big role. And if it's just about pricing, maybe a customer or a fleet or a company will use this solution. So it's really an addition on the side to make it more seamless. And if we wouldn't do it, we would kind of block the customer in having a seamless solution.
Yes.
If you see it like this.
Thank you. Any more questions from the audience? I have to check my... If not, I would like to finish with closing remarks from each of you. And what I would like to know is sort of what are other projects or ideas that maybe came up this year at ICNC where you could imagine building up such a speedboat collaboration. You can also, just go wild and be like, this would be absolutely great, even if you know it's might not happen so quickly. What would be fun, and who would you need to build it?
I guess fun would be for me. We always talk about smart charging and so on, and smart is usually like it's not that smart because it's the grid is reacting, the charging station is reacting on things what's happening. As soon as we go to predictive charging, means the car will share before it's plugging in the data. I want to charge in 2 hours in Nuremberg and I need 60 kilowatt hours. And if this can be shared with the CPO or with the MSP, they first could have the improvements. They can maybe reserve the station. They can know if they have enough energy, if they need to get some energy from somewhere, from the TSO and so on. The MSP could even say, hey, we have a lot of traffic here, or the OEM can say, I have a lot of traffic. Why don't we provide a different charging station with a cheaper price, but then you have a 1 kilometer route tour, and then we can balance a little bit more the charging. So like this is, I know it's a little bit over top, but this is something like all the solutions we built are part of it to come to this in a later stage.
So it's aiming to improve utilization by doing some kind of prediction, but
or sharing data before the charging and not at charging.
But is it something that has to be voluntarily or voluntarily shared, or can you predict it from data? So I'm wondering, can the OEM predict it?
The OEM knows a lot of data, I guess. So you know how the battery state is, you know where the car is, you know where the navigation system wants to route to. This data could be shared, could be consumed, and can be distributed.
So who would you like to have as partners?
Of course, OEMs to have it, and then we need CPOs, MSPs in the game to consume it, to make something out of it. I don't have the full customer journey in place, but we could imagine that this could be nice for a customer, that they maybe today see the pain, it's not working well, and then it's working well. Yeah. And then we would sit together on maybe a coffee or something else, and then have some nice ideas.
So great collaboration coming up here with predictive data for better utilization. Felix.
What I'm thinking, what would be very cool and would solve a lot of problems, I think biggest problem is price transparency and also cost transparency. What does it cost to charge my EV per month? This data point is we calculated it somehow, but I think what would be really cool and would be also an industry effort would be an EMSP. I mean, you probably know the Tesla experience in their network. They show the prices and everything because they have the data as a CPO as well. So they have the whole data chain. Yeah. What I think would be very, very cool, very beneficial for OEMs as well as CPOs and EMSPs is to have a solution where we can have all that data during the session and after the session in real time and in right accuracy. And that would be so helpful, I think, for everybody.
So that you can build sort of better price transparency ad hoc, but also at the end of the charging session.
I want to show during the session how the costs are evolving. I want to show the right pricing after the session. So I can say Johanna, your EV costs.
You charge for free.
You
hopefully.
for free, or your EV costs you whatever, $100 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me also regarding price transparency, when you think about location-based pricing, time-based pricing, it's again something most customers or really don't see the tree because of the forest. What's the real pricing here and why?
Yeah.
And what's the best sales channel
Yeah.
or the best channel to use it? So I think something, and I think we have to evolve as industry also. It's not a static pricing anymore, will not be.
Yeah.
And that's something, again, we should not forget the end customer who stands in front of or sees it in the car and is asking questions. So, yeah.
So you would join this project?
Yeah.
Okay. From Alpitronic.
Yeah, I think today we heard many times the term customer journey. We were talking a lot about customer journey. Nonetheless, still to date, there is no common sense on how the customer journey really should look like.
Yeah.
Amongst, I mean, we are one charging station manufacturer, but there are others, and it somehow looks and feels similar, but it's still not very well. And especially when we talk about then price transparency and things like that, there is no industry best practice. Doesn't even have to be a standard because you have to stay open, but at least some guidelines, best practice. We are lacking some kind of platform where all the market participants and stakeholders can share, because we are all in the industry like more than 10 years, I would say now. Still, everybody's fighting on their own, right? And nobody is really sharing what they learned, because as we said, nobody included the EV driver, right? What is the expectation of the EV driver? We know the OEMs are talking, of course, but also the CPOs. They have direct contact to the EV driver, and somehow they provide us feedback as a manufacturer, but always on a point to point. And not, still on that topic, there is no standardization group or like a working group. It doesn't even have to be standard, but at least providing that feedback, collecting that feedback, right?
So I would think a perfect also last words, because I would think ICNC is exactly, or supposed to be exactly this. Yeah. So Christian launched the community. Could the community maybe also serve as a vehicle for that, and bring together? And I feel like the customer journey also needs to be have a comeback next year at the ICNC. And we need to get more driver experience in. So we had the driver panel just before. So that's what I'm taking from your explanations. Thank you so much. So let's see if he's already there. Because I got more questions, I thought I could now spend some time because you might be late. But our final speaker already arrived. Anyone who has still got questions regarding these models, the payment, blah, 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 all the stuff you guys sent me, please feel free to grab the speakers right now and then join the projects that have just been announced. And I'm just kidding. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.